In this video, I will bring you Rashida Tlaib's heart-wrenching speech and her support for the Palestinian people. This is what speaking truth to power looks like. Let's go.
No one can do it better.
I'm the only Palestinian American serving in Congress, Mr. Chair, and my perspective is needed here now more than ever. I will not be silenced, and I will not let you distort my words. Folks forget I'm from the city of Detroit, the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, where I learned to speak truth to power even if my voice shakes. Trying to bully or censor me won't work, because this movement for a ceasefire is much bigger than one person. It's growing every single day. There are millions of people across our country who oppose Netanyahu's extremism and are done watching our government support collective punishment and the use of white phosphorus bombs that melt flesh to the bone. They are done watching our government, Mr. Chair, supporting cutting off food, water, electricity, and medical care to millions of people with nowhere to go. Like me, Mr. Chair, they don't believe the answer to war crimes is more war crimes. The refusal of Congress and the administration to acknowledge Palestinian lives is chipping away at my soul. Over 10,000 Palestinians have been killed. Majority were children. But let me be clear. My criticism has always been of the Israeli government and Netanyahu's actions. It is important to separate people and governments, Mr. Chair. No government is beyond criticism. The idea that criticizing the government of Israel is anti-Semitic sets a very dangerous precedent, and it's being used to silence diverse voices speaking up for human rights across our nation. Do you realize what it's like, Mr. Chair, for the people outside the chamber right now, listening in agony to their own government dehumanizing them? To hear the President of the United States we helped elect dispute death tolls as we see video after video of dead children and parents under rubble? Mr. Chair, do you know what it's like to fear rising hate crimes, to know how Islamophobia and anti-Semitism makes us all less safe, and worry that your own child might suffer the horrors that 6-year-old Wadia did in Illinois? I can't believe I have to say this, but Palestinian people are not disposable. We are human beings, just like anyone else. My city, my grandmother, like all Palestinians, just wants to live her life with freedom and human dignity we all deserve. Speaking up to save lives, Mr. Chair, no matter faith, no matter ethnicity, should not be controversial in this chamber. The cries of the Palestinian and Israeli children sound no different to me. What I don't understand is why the cries of Palestinians sound different to you all. We cannot lose our shared humanity, Mr. Chair. I hear the voices of advocates in Israel, in Palestine, across America, and around the world for peace. I am inspired by the courageous survivors in Israel who have lost loved ones, yet are calling for a ceasefire and the end to violence. I am grateful to the people in the streets for the peace movement, with countless Jewish Americans across the country standing up and lovingly saying, "Not in our name." We will continue to call for a ceasefire, Mr. Chair, for the immediate delivery of critical humanitarian aid to Gaza, for the release of all hostages and those arbitrarily detained, and for every American to come home. We will continue to work for a real lasting peace that upholds human rights and dignity of all people and centers in peaceful coexistence between Israelis and Palestinians, and censures no one, and ensures that no person, no child has to suffer or live in fear of violence. 71% of Michigan Democrats support a ceasefire. So you can try to censor me, but you can't silence their voices. I urge my colleagues to join with the majority of Americans and support a ceasefire now to save as many lives as possible. President Biden must listen to and represent all of us, not just some of us. I urge the President to have the courage to call for a ceasefire and the end of killings. Thank you, and I yield.
That was an amazing, heartfelt speech by Rashida Tlaib, standing for the Palestinian people and speaking truth to power. She would not be silenced. She wants the United States to stop supporting Israel militarily. She calls out the crimes of the use of white phosphorus by Israel on the Palestinian people, as well as cutting off food, water, and electricity, which are war crimes. She also says, which is very, very important, that criticizing the government, that's not racist. You see, it's not racist to criticize a government. Though she used the word anti-Semitic. I don't use that word because they use that word to set themselves apart and put themselves beyond reproach. And when you put in the word racist, it usually doesn't make sense. So again, it's not racist to criticize actions of a government or of a people. And remember, when this stuff goes on, we are all less safe. The stuff that you're seeing, the death of these children and the collective punishment, that puts everybody in a less safe position in life. And that degrades all of our human rights. It was very just heart-wrenching when she was standing there and she said that Palestinians are people too, like anybody else. And why does it seem like some hear the cries of Palestinian children differently than they hear the cries of other races of people's children? That was very true. She went on to say that freedom and human dignity is for all people, and the Palestinians want that as well. She said she won't be silenced, and I'm so happy to see her stand up against this evil that we're living through. There's a famous saying out there that was said, and it goes like this, that the people that are being persecuted, they won't remember the harsh words of their enemies, but they will remember the silence of their friends. So this is the time to be speaking up, to be strong, and to stand for righteousness. Let's get into these verses. Ephesians 6:14. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. You got to stand for truth, especially in these last days when the truth seemed to have escaped most of humanity. Somebody out there, if you're still in truth, you got to stand for it, because the people that are in truth are becoming less and less. And have on your breastplate of righteousness. Stand for righteousness, and do not be silent in the face of evil, because that is being complicit to the evil, and that allows the evil to flourish. Last verses here, Psalms 94:13-17, that thou mayest give him rest from the days of adversity, until the pit be digged for the wicked. For Yah will not cast off his people, that's the Israelites, neither will he forsake his inheritance. But judgment shall return unto the righteous, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? I will. Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? I will. Will you? Will you guys out there stand up against the evildoers and stand with the Father against the workers of iniquity? We need you now. It's easy to stand for something when everything is good and everything is easy and everything is going fine. It's harder to stand when adversity hits. Right now, we're in those times of adversity. This is when the true leaders and your true character is going to show. And to finish it out, unless the Father had been my help, my soul had almost dwelt in silence. So the Father, Yahweh, will be our help so that our souls will not be silenced in that time. And this verse here is saying that without the Father being his help, that his soul would have been silenced in that tough time. So call on the Father if you need that strength to not be silent. I know it's hard to stand up and to stand against what everybody else is saying, but that separates leaders from followers. That separates greatness from mediocrity. You need to choose today, where do you stand? All praises to the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. This is Crown Prince Media. I am the Crown Prince. Let's go.
No one can do it better.